at Dill now. Did you want to give us a bit of a rundown in your backstory as to how you got here now?
Yeah, for sure. So
you're the athlete manager with Evatac at the moment. So
yeah, that's correct. So I look after all the customer support and all our athletes here in Evatac, which is unreal opportunity to be like for me as well to be able to kind of do that. So it's certainly enjoyable coming to work every single day and just getting to see and connect with all these influencers and just be like it's inspiring as well, like connecting with all these guys because it's like it just shows like what the potential of anyone can be, like
and having them come to the office as well for photo shoots is really cool. Like these, pretty big names coming over and just getting to meet them all and doing that sort of thing.
Who are some of those names, Drew, that you could rattle off? I think we mentioned Tyson Pedro is one of them. Is there any others?
Tyson Pedro in the UFC. Jackson Tippett, he's a pretty decent sized influencer we like to work with as well. He's in a lot of our photo shoots. Liam Para, he's got a big fight up coming up March 31 somewhere in March. He's got a big fight happening over in the States. These names, it's really good to meet them because we sort of would follow them ourselves and sort of inspired by them, and then we sort of start talking to them, and then all of a sudden they're in the office playing table tennis with us. It's unreal.
We've also worked with names like Dyllon and Brody Pawson, where it's a little bit different, where it's going down that parkour route, and you kind of don't think of it, but then all of a sudden you meet these guys, unreal. The potential is insane, where they're climbing 3, 4, 5 meter type stories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then you'll be at the gym the next station, and then all of a sudden you see videos of them jumping through that, like doing their thing in the gym, and you're like, wow, like you don't realize the effect and like the potential that these guys have until it's also brought into your world as well.
It's a different caliber of athlete too. Hey, with Evatac, it's kind of like you've got your elite performance, military performance kind of flavor on it. We don't see UFC fighters modeling Gymshark and all that kind of thing. So I think you guys have got a nice little niche area in the market there, which you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I guess too, it's like it stemmed from like that military thinking, and then it's kind of evolved away, in a sense, away from that military, diving into the the specific type of like the training and the specific type of tactic and like the combat, the speciality of it all. And that's where we kind of like stuck into, because it was like cool, like we're going to stick away a little bit from the military and just show how it's like that, because it's all like that one-on-one type of stuff, like the boxing, the combat, the parkour, the ICN. It's you versus you, and it's like I was saying before, it's like it's continually evolving into that route where it's like you're training and you're evolving just to beat you. And that's, I think it's such an important it's like such an important message as well, because we're so, especially this day and age, we get so caught up in what other people think of us, that it's like it's an amazing reminder, especially like what we like to portray, where it's like it's always you versus you, and as long as you stick in your own lane, like your potential is limitless.
Yeah, but we couldn't really do the military side of influencers in Australia either, because we can't sell the knives or the firearm sites and all that sort of stuff, so there's no point going down that road. So that's where the combat sports was a much better match for us. We can't sell the products in Australia anyway, whereas in America we could definitely go down that style of customer base,
And that was one of the transitions you had to make, but we'll talk about that a bit later. So Dill, do you want to talk to us more about where you got started? So I'm aware that you started in a bartending role.
So like essentially something that I've always stuck by is like, if you're not happy about something, do something about it. And that's why it's just forced me to do so many careers, where it's like I went from carpentry to doing my Cert 3 in hospitality, and then my Cert 3 in hospitality into doing my Certs 3 and 4, utilizing that time, and then going into, working at like an F45, then going to own a PLC, and then going from owning a PLC to managing one to then owning my own coaching business. And, like every single time I did that, it was more working out, it's like, okay, cool, what do I like and what do I don't like from this job, and what's a job where it's not doing the things that I don't like and it's doing the things that I like, so it's like carpentry, it's like I love the hands-on stuff and everything like that, but I absolutely hated the driving. The environment I was around was horrible, so I was like, all right, cool. I want to obviously help. I want to help evolve my communication skills, hospitality and everything like that. So I was like, all right, well, it makes sense. Hospitality was like, that's how I got into that. And I loved it, like to the point where it taught me how to talk to people. It taught, like, every single job that I've had has taught me a skill as well to where I am. And like hospitality taught me like how to communicate with people and make sure like how to help people, and ensure that they have a really good time, which helps me with the, got me to the customer support side of things. And like then I evolved from the communication into the gym and fitness. Like that's where my growth within my personal growth started. Like going into the health and fitness, working on my body, working on my mind, working on my spiritual health. That's where that all started to the boom up, and then I just kept evolving from there. It's like, like, cool, what am I not enjoying, what do I like doing, and then evolve it like even further into that as well. So to the point where there was a section of time where I was helping people like find their purpose, find their mission, unlock their values, like understand the difference between masculine and feminine energies, and that was all well and good, like, and then from there I still evolve. It's like I love being around that team environment. How can I bring all my skills that I have now into a team environment? And yeah, that's how I've come into the space of a customer support and influencer manager.
And once you get like a few of those big names on there, it kind of gives you a bit of leverage, doesn't it? It gives the brand a bit of legitimacy and helps you, I guess, then bring in other higher profile athletes or affiliates that you can then use.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's crazy how people will instantly kind of judge a brand by just how many followers or something like that. It's like if you don't have 100K, you must not be a legit brand. It's like,
but like we're around for like 5 years before we had the Instagram account.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because we couldn't do it. Like when I was by myself and I didn't have any employees, I couldn't start an Instagram account. I was done. I couldn't start an account to try to build up at all. So Dyllon sort of saved the day there by being the owner, the page owner of these accounts.
So it's only now that we've kind of been able to really take off with the socials.
I guess one of your pillars though is on your website is the fight forward, where you look at aligning the world leading athletes with your values of Evatac. So I guess where do you draw that line between becoming a sellout where you're just trying to bring in the most influential people versus finding people that really align with your brand, that can represent the brand in a way that you want the brand to be represented?
A bit of both. Hey, I mean, we get some of the bigger names for the traffic and that sort of thing, obviously, and more word of mouth, but then we do get some lesser known athletes like Vegas Laughfield. He's a young boxer out of All Star Boxing, and I think we see a lot of potential with him because he's a young guy and he's doing really well. Do you know what his stats are? Is it 6-0 or
6-0?
Yeah,
he's got a belt too now at the moment.
So. So we definitely are going to keep sponsoring those smaller, lesser known people, and then one just because we believe in them. Like Liam Paro, we sponsored him before his last big fight at South Bank, and he blitzed that. So now he's leveled up, and we've stuck with him. So in a way, we're sort of helping each other grow as he works his butt off. That helps us out, and then we sort of tag along and support him. Yeah.
So I guess like, what kind of things have you learnt from all of that? I guess this is more aimed towards you, Dill. From managing those athletes and trying to market and grow the brand.
Yeah, well, the funniest thing is you can see the type of people that how they do anything is how they do everything, or who the people who's just a horrible load of shit, and they just they're doing it for the socials and they don't actually mean what they say. And the more you do it, the more that you can pick up on people's like authentic self, or are they just being a clown and just trying to do it for just the money and everything like that. So like finding a good balance between like those really good, like the really good athletes too, are not putting too much time into socials. So it's like, yeah, they may be an excellent athlete, they could be amazing, but at the same time too, we have to also think, all right, cool, how are we also going to benefit this? Because if they're not doing anything to do with socials, you know, because they're so athletic based, or you know, that they're not putting time into their socials because it's all their time into their training. Well, it's like, how are we going to benefit from that as well? Because you're not known, you know. So it's like, it's also,
so we'll help them as well in those sorts of instances. Yeah,
exactly,
we'll help them and give them what they need to make the posts easier, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's where it's been enjoyable, because it's like we also help educate those like athletes and influencers, because it holds them to a standard of, okay, cool, I need to post for these guys, I need to get content, and it brings a lot more awareness for them, which, you know, helps them grow, which then, you know, who knows, it might even bring in more sponsorships, more opportunities for them in the future too. But at the time, we get to showcase their athletic potential through us, and that's where it's a win-win situation.